along with a lot of other cable networks, have focused on Trump's immigration policies and his actions, we should do that. Trump is president. But tonight we're going to focus on Democrats. Democrats say they want to deport illegal immigrants convicted of crimes, but they are against ICE raids, and they don't want to get rid of sanctuary cities. Those are three things. You can have any two of those three things on the triangle, but you cannot have all three. If Democrats ended sanctuary policies, there would be no need for ICE raids. Yet, they won't offer to end the sanctuary policies. Plus, they can't stop complaining about the ICE raids. The obvious conclusion, and this is subject to examination, is that Democrats in Washington and the major blue cities are unserious in every way about deporting illegal aliens. That's a break from constituents. New polling from Mara shows 73% of Democratic voters support deporting illegal immigrants who've been convicted of a violent crime, hence why Democrats now say they are for it. A third even back deporting people here illegally who have been convicted of non-violent crimes, a third of Democrats. That number surprised us. But at the same time, Democrats don't want to get rid of sanctuary cities, which means the only way to deport people is for ICE to go get them in raids. It's pretty obvious. But Democrats don't want raids either. 83% say ICE raids have gone too far. And I'm sure you're talking, and these people are talking about operations at restaurants and Home Depots, but one ICE agent told our ally Bradley those raids are just as important as the targeted operations.
Criminals have to have day jobs. There's a misconception that criminals are just sitting at home waiting for their next victim. While they may be doing that, they're also out at work at the Home Depots looking for places, other work as day laborers, working in the hotels, working in the restaurants. That's where we've been finding criminals as well.
And so, as we said, there is a deportation dilemma. Either you abandon sanctuary cities and empower the federal law enforcement to remove bad people, or you force federal law enforcement to carry out undercover raids that Democrats hate so much. It's hard to have it both ways. Congressman Glenn Ivey, perfect guest for this topic, Democrat from Maryland. Before Congress, served as an assistant U.S. attorney and as Prince George's County State's attorney. It's good to see you, sir. As always, we appreciate. I have said many times you are a leading voice in the Democratic Party, one who's willing to talk to everybody, and we appreciate that. How is it, in an intellectually honest sense, can Democrats say they want to deport criminals but keep sanctuary city laws and not have ICE raids?
Actually, we've been doing it for decades. So when I was a local prosecutor in the state's attorney's office, and that was from 2002 to 2010, we had MS-13 in my district. We prosecuted MS-13. In fact, we did a joint prosecution with the U.S. attorney at the time, Rod Rosenstein, who later became the acting attorney general for Donald Trump. And so what you do is, just like with any other criminal element, you get warrants to arrest them. You go to court, you put together your probable cause determination, the judge signs it, you put a team together, and you go arrest them.
All well and good. There's a difference, and there's the catch here, I think you know this, between an ICE detainer and a warrant. And you brought up Prince George's County, I'm glad you did. ICE arrested Renee Popchub, a Guatemalan national charged with murder and assault after the Prince George's County Department of Corrections failed to honor an ICE immigration detainer. ICE and the FBI arrested David Alejandro Oriela Alderman, a Salvadorian national charged with possession of a firearm, extortion, terrorist affiliation, and he was arrested in Hyattsville. ICE arrested Jamal Benjamin Hears, a Jamaican national convicted of first-degree murder and assault in Prince George's County. ICE Maryland arrested Abriel Bersin Escobar, 30-year-old citizen of Mexico. Escobar's criminal history includes a conviction for felony third-degree sexual assault against a victim in Prince George's County. There is a difference between a warrant and an ICE detainer. Again, wouldn't it be a lot simpler if saying to ICE, we will honor the ICE detainers, and therefore ICE doesn't need to go into the community and find these people once they're released?
They're not going into the community to get those people, by and large. They're casting very broad nets, and they're picking up lots of people who they think are Latino, and then they sort them out later. That's what's going on. It's essentially a racial profiling scenario. That's why they roll up on like a parking lot in front of a Home Depot or something, grab everybody, and then sift them out. Now, if they actually wanted to go to the Home Depot because there's a guy there with a charge that you're talking about.
You don't have a problem with that?
No. No, not
So
at
you have
all.
no reason-
I used to do those. I used to do those.
Right, but
warrants.
wouldn't it be a
And I
lot
used to
easier? You wouldn't
prosecute those
have to
guys.
do that, right? Wouldn't it be a lot easier? Wouldn't Democrats have a lot higher moral ground to stand on if they said, look, we will honor ICE detainers, we will end sanctuary city laws in return for no raids at Home Depots?
I suppose you could do that, but the Constitution already has something laid out. That's called the warrant clause. And one of the reasons we have the warrant clause is because the British did exactly what you're talking about. So to cut that down.
So you're saying
and make
ICE
sure,
detainers are unconstitutional?
No, I'm not saying that. But if you want to make an arrest, get a warrant. And especially for a violent crime like what you're talking about. And by the way, if you've got somebody that's been arrested already and he's being held in a prison or a jail, and you know that he's got the charges you're talking about, get the arrest warrant.
Right.
And they have to
they
have to release him to the people who come with the warrant. Now, it might not be ICE. Usually, it's like whoever.
Right.
FBI
No, I
or
get
somebody.
that, but there's a difference. There's a difference here, which is that if someone's here illegally and they're charged with a crime, sanctuary cities don't honor ICE detainers. We can all agree on that. That's what that means, right?
I think by and large, yeah, depending on what they're going after them for. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting back to this point. How can Democrats say we want to deport any criminal alien?
I don't know that people are saying it the way you're saying it, but if they're criminal, and that means they committed a violent offense or some kind of criminal offense, you can get a warrant to arrest them. Period. And we were doing that before ICE and Trump popped up. Before January 2025, that's exactly how we did it, all the way across the country, and we've been doing it like that for decades.
So here's Tom Homan. I know somebody who you disagree with.
Probably.
Probably. All right, here he is saying why ICE is focusing on sanctuary cities.
Okay.
We're going double down, triple down on sanctuary cities. Why? Not because they're a blue city or blue state, because we know that's where the problem is.
I missed part of that. But I think what I heard him say was they're focusing on sanctuary cities because that's where the problem is. That may or may not be true. I think you've got people who are here illegally all over the country, and some are in sanctuary cities and some aren't, and some aren't sanctuary jurisdictions whatsoever. But as I said a minute ago, Tom Homan, if he wanted to go get this and do it the right way, you go get a warrant and make the arrest.
You don't need a warrant. And I'm just looking this up. I'm not a lawyer. You are. Section 287 of the Immigration and Nationality Act provides ICE officers the authority to arrest aliens without a judicial warrant.
If you know that it's somebody who fits in that category, you've got the 287 provision. The problem is what they're doing is they're just grabbing people. 8% of the people that they're detaining have violent criminal
They just beat that number. I know. So
let's triple it.
Okay.
24%. That means 76% of the people, 3/4 of the people they're stopping and detaining don't have violent charges against them. And Trump ran saying that that's who he was going to focus on. And guess what? I don't know where you live, but the guys I want off the street, the murderers, the rapists, the gangbangers, the traffickers, go get them. Don't get the JV kid going to volleyball practice. Don't drag the.
Okay. So Trump promised the largest mass should be
Don't drag out the waitress out of the restaurant who's been working there for 25 years. But that's what they're doing.
You have some of the more sanguine rhetoric on the Democratic side, and I applaud you for how reasonable and thoughtful you are about it. Not all of your fellow members in Congress have the same rhetoric about ICE. We'll play a little bit for you.
We are normalizing, we're talking about it like it's no big deal that they are kidnapping people and transporting them to concentration camps.
They think they're getting kidnapped. It's terrorizing Americans, our friends and neighbors, otherwise known as immigrants.
They're being decimated by Donald Trump's Gestapo tactics with the ICE raids.
You kidnap people off of the streets and pretend that's normal, because that's how you quiet dissent. That's when you decide there won't be new elections, because everyone's either afraid, poor, broken, or complicit.
It does look like a Gestapo operation.
You and I have talked a lot about rhetoric. You used to be a member of law enforcement, assistant U.S. attorney, then a prosecuting attorney. Do you understand why ICE agents and ICE officers are so scared of these potential attacks, and so scared that at some point those 10 people who are arrested with AR-15s are going to be successful at hurting them?
Well, I think that's been true for law enforcement for quite a while, certainly since the crack epidemic swept across the country in the mid to late 80s. And
this is different, though. I mean,
it is and it isn't. I mean, I prosecuted cop murder cases. This is not new. So, you know, and there's a wall right around the corner with cops' names on them. It's a long wall. They were killed in the line of duty. So this isn't new. I'm not saying there's anything okay about it. We should prosecute people who are attacking ICE agents or whoever. But I'll say this, too. The mask with no identification, that's not right.
So you support Booker and Padilla's bill and Swalwell's bill that would ban ICE agents from wearing masks?
Not necessarily. What we proposed in appropriations on this issue, and I proposed it actually, if you're going to wear a mask, at least have a name and badge number that identifies you. And the reason I'm not totally opposed to masks off the top of the bat is because in cases that I handle, and we have these regularly, you have cops out there for like riot control or crowd control. Sometimes they have gas masks on or guards over their face. So essentially you can't see their face anyway, but they have identifying information on their jacket.
So you're thinking ICE needs to be held to the same standard as local law enforcement is sort of that?
Well, most federal does that too. And the reason they do it in part is because
these guys are having their families threatened. They're having their personal information put online.
They are not alone. There are other agents out there who face these types of threats and worse. I mean, like from organized crime have gone after these guys. So this isn't new.
Well, does that mean we shouldn't try to do new things to protect the ICE agents, ICE officers?
I think if you want to have, for example, if you did badge numbers but no name, and I don't think that's what we're talking about here. I think they're talking ambush scenarios. They're not tracking these guys down by name and
no, they are. They're putting their
kill them.
Yes, and they're putting their name and information and their family.
Their people are being doxxed, but they're going to their houses and shooting them.
They're going to their houses.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've been shot yet.
That's not what I heard. What I heard was, and we've had these, and I prosecuted some of these. They'd go up. There's a police car. There's a guy sitting there. Go and shoot him in the head, or they call the cops and they wait for them to show up and they attack them there. The ambush shootings.
Right.
And I'm not saying there's anything okay about that, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have ways to identify cops who are doing whatever they're doing out there for a couple of reasons. One is they have to be accountable for what they're doing, not just to...
They're on camera. They're accountable.
Well, if they've got masks on and you don't have any identifying information, and there's a lot of them out there, you can't tell who they are.
Fair point.
And from a managerial standpoint, what if you got a cop out there that's not doing it the way he should be doing it? The manager, whoever his higher up boss, they don't even know how to deal with it. And when I'm a prosecutor putting the case together, and I need to know who is that guy who's going to be the star witness for us, I can't identify him. You know,
fair point.
Got to be able to identify him.
It's good to have you as always, Congressman.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Appreciate the perspective. Coming up next, Congressman Tim Burchett gets to tell me and all of you, I told you so.